Hey there, CPO here, and decided it was time to actually teach my son how to fly proper-like. He has shown a little bit of interest in learning to fly and a little bit intimidated by the helicopters, but wants to fly a plane. So I started doing some research and shopping around looking for the perfect beginner plane for he and I to work on together to get him flying. Did quite a bit of research, and what I settled on was the Flyzone Sensei. This looks like it's going to be a great trainer, super stable, doesn't tip stall, a lot of great features, big, easy to see, can fly really slow, nice and stable, and it's got the cool feature of the bomb drop bay, which is going to be really cool as well. So once we get him comfortable flying, we can start having some fun with perhaps some target competitions with the bomb drops. So, this video is kind of my strategy for getting my son up to speed in learning how to fly. So it's going to start out basically with him learning how to fly on the simulator. One of the cool things about the Sensei and the fact that I have Real Flight 7 is the Sensei is one of the models in Real Flight 7. So I can get him right away flying it while I'm waiting for this thing to arrive. So I gave him a couple of days to be able to get proficient enough on the simulator that he can fly some nice, easy, slow circles around the flying field. It's easy to get around and avoid hitting the ground in the simulator. What's harder is slow, easy, controlled circles, and that's what I want him to work on so that I feel comfortable with him at the sticks when we get to the flying field. Now, I'll be training him with the wireless buddy box system. So one of the cool things, again, about the Sensei, I'm getting the Ready to Fly model. It comes with a transmitter that is compatible. It's a Tactic transmitter. I think it's the TT600. Well, I have a TT650. And the Tactics have a really simple wireless buddy box solution that allows me to effortlessly connect the two for a trainer-student mode. So I'm going to take advantage of that as well. And, so he's got to work on the simulator. Then we're going to go out to the field and do wireless buddy box and eventually get him to a point where he's comfortable flying solo. So that's kind of how this thing's going to play out. So, I'm excited, and here's just a little bit of video footage, and I'll get you caught up on this methodology and how it's working out for us. So one of the things I wanted to do was set him up with other people who could give him instruction besides me. So obviously some flight test videos were in order. Then I put him on the sim and really just let him get a feel for flying the aircraft. And I found that having the binocular view really did give him an opportunity to see what the plane was doing close up. I also encouraged him to explore different flight characteristics of the plane, like how to get it to stall and how to fly as slow as you can, and just play around with it a little bit and see what it does. So it wasn't more than a couple days, and my box from Tower Hobbies was here with the Sensei. And I was really amazed at how big this thing is. I really like it. Nice and, easy to work on. It comes in just a couple of parts. The thing is basically pre-assembled. When they say ready to fly, they mean seriously ready to fly. So you can see here all of the electronics are installed and nicely labeled. The receiver set up. All the servos. There's the bomb drop doors there and the little cargo area. But let's go ahead and put the landing gear on. Probably the easiest thing to start with. And it's a pretty heavy-duty, solid landing gear. I really like it. And it's a steerable nose gear, too, if I didn't mention that. So now for the tail feathers. I was concerned a little bit at first that these elevators might be torn, but there really are hinges there, so that wasn't a problem. Another thing was the rudder was bent a little bit, but it's just super soft foam, so it bends right back, so no stress now. And my son and I built this together. We wanted this to be a father-son project, and it was so easy for him to work on. We just kind of tag-teamed it. And literally, I think there's, 5 screws total to hold this whole thing together from out of the box to flying. These little clips that hold the control rods for the elevator and the rudder were probably one of the more challenging parts, but not too bad once you get your fingers in there. Just a quick double check that the control surfaces move okay and there's no binding. And now we grab these wings. It's a 2-piece wing that goes together really easy with this wing joiner and this spar. And then, just got to make sure you get those aileron servo wires hanging out. And then this little centerpiece, which is kind of what ties it all together. And the only thing I had to do for wiring was put in the Y harness for the ailerons into channel 1 on the receiver. That was it. Matter of fact, the transmitter came with batteries. We put them in. The thing was already bound up and ready to go. As a matter of fact, the reverse switches were all properly set, per the instructions in the manual. So just a quick check. Make sure that all our control surfaces move right, and that is all just perfect. So really is pretty easy, and I don't know how long we spent in total, but I mean maybe half an hour. So plugging in the ailerons to the extensions, and that all just tucks right in there nicely, and the wing fits in and then just holds down with these 2 nylon bolts, which you want to hang on to if you want to take this thing apart for getting it to the field. And the very last step is putting this propeller on and the nose cone here. There is one gotcha though, and I want to make sure that everybody's aware of this so you can check it on your own build. But the state that your throttle position is in when you bind your transmitter to the receiver dictates the failsafe. In this particular build, it came to me out of the box with the failsafe backwards. Yeah, when it loses signal to the transmitter, the failsafe was full throttle on. So I ended up rebinding it with the throttle down, but just check that. So then we were out in the late afternoon for a maiden flight, and we went to our local church grounds, which has a fairly nice big open field. Spent a lot of time with CJ going over the pre-flight inspection and how all the controls work and how to tell if things are moving in the right direction. It's very important to check that each and every time, and I want him to really understand what's supposed to happen when he moves those sticks. But everything was working just fine. Quick check to see the wind direction, and now we know which way we're going to be taking off from. And again, another little important thing that shouldn't be missed. And there we go, the maiden takeoff, and doesn't take much runway to get into the air, and flies like a champ. It really is. It really is as easy as everybody said it was, and the wheels work great in the higher grass. So unfortunately, I don't have any great flight video because it's just a camera standing behind us on a tripod. But we played hand the controls back and forth wirelessly, of course, because he's got one controller and I've got the other one. And basically, I would just, let him run what he felt comfortable with and take over when he wasn't comfortable. And then there's the maiden landing. And we have success. We did fly a couple more times this day on that same battery. And then later on, we actually got out to the flying field where we're going to open it up a little bit. But you know what? I'm going to save that for the rest of the story as CJ progresses with learning how to fly this Sensei. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.